Welcome back, everyone, to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So, in our previous video, we got started in our first full-time truck season, and we run the first couple of races, and I was pretty happy with the results. Again, I'll be waiting for some feedback from you guys. What would you like to see us aim for? Are we aiming for top 10s, top 15s, top 5s, wins, the whole thing? Now, I tend to record several of these at one time, usually two to four, depending on how much time I've got. So it may be a little while before I can respond in the videos, but definitely keep the feedback coming. The results we got, obviously we weren't dominating, so that checks off one box for me. But again, we'll play with this over time and see what we get. So where do we end our last video? Well, we're ready for our third race in the trucks, which will be at Martinsville, but it's not quite time for that yet. Before that, we've got our first hot seat offer in the Xfinity series at Phoenix. So let's go ahead, and before we get down to that, let's take a look at some of the options we've got here on the screen. So we've got next race, which we know will be in the Xfinity car at Phoenix, but then let's take a look at the standings. What does it actually show us on this screen? Well, it starts off on the Xfinity screen, which we have nothing to show here because we haven't done a race there yet. But if we press X, it takes us to the Camping World Truck Series, where we are currently 11th in points with 51 points. So not bad. We're doing pretty good on our little science experiment here about trying to not be as dominant and trying to fight for top 10s and top 5s. So far, so good there. Let's back out. Let's see what the schedule looks like. Now, I know there had been a bug before where you could actually crash the game or have some other weird issues by doing this, but I think that's been taken care of and was only in select circumstances, I think during the intro season, mostly for people. But if we take a look here at the schedule, Martinsville will be our next race for the trucks. Press Y to switch the series, and you can see race number 4 in the Xfinity season, which will be at Phoenix, will be our first race in that series. Let's take a look at the teams. Now, I found this was kind of interesting. There are 18 teams interested, which I wasn't expecting, quite frankly. And we noticed as I flip through these, we've got combinations of 4- and 3-star teams that are interested. And because we're higher than 30th, 20th, and so on in the standings. So that I find that very interesting and wasn't really expecting that. So that's something new, and I would imagine this will continue to fluctuate as we go through the full season and will give us offers to potentially stay in the trucks full time for next year. But again, we'll see how all that goes as the season unfolds. And then finally, we'll come to our rivals and stats section. Rivals, right now, everybody's friendly with us. They all love us for now. I got a feeling that's definitely going to change with the way the AI race in particular. There's no way this can continue for the duration. So I'm a little bit apprehensive of how this is going to work as these drivers get more and more upset with me and how much contact is it going to take to anger them, that kind of stuff. We'll see how that all works as well. And then finally, stats. And we've got some very basic level stats for each series. Of course, we haven't gotten to the Cup Series yet. No rides there. And we're about to do our first Xfinity Series ride, but some very basic stats there with races, top 10s, 5s, wins, and so on. So again, be interesting to see how all this unfolds and how we can fill up the stat sheet as time goes by. But for now, let's move on to next race. And it shows us that it's a hot seat race coming up at Phoenix. Now, one change I have made for this particular race, just to test it out, and we're going to be running a little bit longer race. We've been running, I think it was 7% races so far. I'm going to move that up to 13%, and we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see how things go at 13% and whether this helps our finishes, hurts our finishes, or what have you, because I like running longer races. And so we're going to give this a shot out in our first Xfinity race at Phoenix. So without any further ado, let's head to the racetrack. All right, here we go. And let's see what we can do. We're starting 25th. We've got 26 laps. And boy, let me tell you, Now I'm working on the setup for this particular track that will be released soon. I'm not sure exactly what day I'll be able to get it done and uploaded, but let me just tell you. Oh, look out. These guys are slowing down big time. We're going to have to take to the apron. But I could not run anything close on this track right now in career mode to what I could by running, everything full strength during my testing and everything, working on the setup. So this should be interesting. I mean, I am quite a bit off on speed. Still so far, little love taps there, here and there for the AI. Just to let them know I'm here. We're probably going to make some rivals really quickly in this race. But we're in a 3-star car, which means that we are way down on power, which isn't necessarily a huge disadvantage here, except for coming up off the corners. Coming off the corners here, that's where you're going to make your passes. If anything, it should mean, oh, look at this. Ryan Reed does not want me anywhere in front of him for sure. But we got in front of him regardless, or at least beside him. All right, a good run through 1 and 2. I will admit freely that this is not my best track by far, so I am definitely not the fastest guy here. Not that I'm the fastest guy on any track, but I'm definitely not the best here, and I definitely understand my weaknesses here. I love the track. It is a very fun track to run, and so far, just running against the AI and the other races I do for the gameplay footage and the setup videos, I've had a lot of fun running with the AI here. One of the most fun I've had so far. All right, you can see I'm using, oh, look out. He did not like the contact with that other car for sure. All right, I'm having to be very aggressive with the throttle through 1 and 2 just to try to make up for some of the horsepower deficit that I have. All right, we're just going to take to the apron here, which is a lot of fun that you can do that on this track because they don't give you a lot of room to race with the AI. The AI used the bottom pretty effectively overall here. Ooh. Oh, look out, look out. There's a guy right on me and he was trying to spin me out. Luckily, he didn't quite get it done. Somehow we have managed to find ourselves right to the edge of the top 10. I don't know how that's happened. But we're still moving and grooving with them. In very heavy AI traffic. Very heavy. I'm using basically the identical setup. Ooh, look out there, Brendan Gong. He's coming up behind me quick. But basically I'm using the identical setup to what I'm going to post soon on the channel, with the difference being that I'm using the camber restriction of 5 degrees that I talked about in the last video, and that we're using so far. All right, boy, we are able to move through the AI pretty good here. I'm pretty excited right now. I didn't think we were going to be able to run this well in a 3-star team and the camber restriction. But I am having a blast so far. Little contact here and there with the AI, but I'm not overly worried about that. If we have rivals, we just have some rivals. It gives us a chance, if nothing else, to see how that system works in the game. All right, so we can now see the top 5. Now we'll get a chance on lap 11 out of 26 to see what we can do with them. Do we have the speed to crack into the top 5? I think we do, but now we get to find out. That's the beauty of racing, is you don't have to wonder whether or not you can. you get a chance to prove it. All right, can I get to his inside? I can. I did the old slide job on him there, and hoping that he can't come back to my inside, and so far so good. Slide job worked. Trying to carry as much speed through 3 and 4 as I can. That's by far my best end of the track. I struggle here in 1 and 2. Oh, look out. We got off the gas more than I was expecting there. All right, so 3rd and 4th are right ahead. At least I assume that's 4th. Directly in front of Suarez. I don't think we've gone deep enough into the race to be looking at lap cars yet, but maybe we are. All right, hard back into throttle, trying to give him room on top, which is hard to do coming off of turn 2 while maintaining speed. Now we should be able to clear him going through 3 and 4. All right, so far so good. All right, we moved up into 3rd. So now we just need to keep our pace and see what kind of lap times we can run. Again, what little time I was able to spend in practice against these guys, I wasn't able to put down any good laps compared to what I've been running in preparing the setup for release. But let's see what we can do. All right, good. I was able to get down below 28 seconds. Still a long way from where it could be, but it's definitely a step in the right direction that I will take. All right, that little stab on the gas I like to do in the center of 3 and 4. More than anything, I use that as a test to see how the car is rotating. Woo. A little loose. All right, and I'm hoping that's 1st and 2nd straight in front of us and not any combination of lap traffic, because we are gaining on them nicely. Let's go ahead and pull up tap A a couple of times and pull up the leaderboard. Setup is very free, particularly from the center off. I did that to try to maintain as much speed as possible. We're trying to pass these guys, and oh, we done got really loose and losing some time. Man, I hate doing that. Good news is it looks like we're able to make that time back, so we are pretty fast. Trying to be very easy on the throttle. Because every time we get loose, we lose a few tenths of a second per lap on these guys. Loose again there. But as you can see, we're able to make it back, but boy, does it take laps to do so. 6 laps to go, and we have a possible victory right here in front of us. The question is, can we make it happen? I'm already thrilled with our race, just being this far ahead of where I thought we were going to be. Oh, we got a great run here, great run off of turn 4. And you can see Allgaier is going to block me, which is fine. I wasn't really prepared to do anything with him this time anyway. I'm going to try to focus on getting as good a run as I can through 1 and 2, and maybe coming off of 4 this time, we'll be in a position to do something with it. Here we go. Oh, he wanted to come down and block me. Okay. I like it. Yeah, he doesn't want to give us any room at all. But we're coming hard. All right, we're not going to get in here. Ooh, a little loose. Rear end just fighting for grip coming off that corner. All right, we can drive it through 3 and 4 better than he can. All right, we got a great run on Byron here. The question is, can we get it to his inside down in turn 1 and 2? All right, we're going to try the slide job on him as well while still giving him some room. All right, he's fighting back. Now here's our opportunity down into this corner. All right, so far we got it. Two laps to go, I think is what the spotter said. Again, having a hard time hearing him. We're going to try to dispatch with Dylan Lupton going into the corner. Okay, so far so good there. Yeah, back end really wants to step out with me. So I have to be careful about oversteering the car. Oh, okay, we're going to have to try to go to the outside. I love how my spotter, when I can hear him, he'll say things like clear low, get down there, and then he'll say clear high, get up there. So I'm not sure which groove he wants me to run. All right, well, we got it. Wow. Folks, I'm thrilled right now. That I did not expect. I thought driving a 3-star car with the restrictions on the setup, I didn't think we had a shot for anything better than maybe a top 15. And who knows, maybe even just a top 20. But wow, this was nice. I am very, very excited by that. Our first race in the Xfinity Series, and we come home with a victory. And not a huge victory either. We had to fight our way through the field. And overall, I would have to call that a very good race for the AI. If we could have that at every track. Now, granted, there still need to be faster, because if I had a full-strength 5-star car, I would have been a great deal faster per lap. But if we could just have that type of racing with the AI at every track, this game would be 1,000 times better right now than where it is currently. All right, let's go ahead and move through the screens. So we have a win, which is probably... Can I scroll through the standings? Nope, it's not going to let me scroll. I was going to see how many people have a win so far that would actually count, meaning non-Cup drivers. All right, so we take home our first Xfinity trophy. Very nice. It's a nice looking ride there, too. I like the sort of the checkered pattern we got. Always nice to celebrate in victory lane. So our quickest lap, 27.9, which is probably a good half second roughly off of the quickest laps with a 5-star car that I've run. But I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm not going to be complaining for sure. So the team lets us know, nice job with that top 25 finish today. We'll keep you in mind for a ride next season. So top 25 is what we needed. We came home with a victory. They definitely should be pleased with us going forward. All right, so let's see what we've got next. Christopher Bell lets us know your stats are starting to look pretty good with those 5 lifetime wins. Keep them coming. We definitely plan to. Oh, and another one. So Nepic Gaming just won a hot seat race. Don't worry, I'll keep the Xfinity Championship Cup warm for you. Okay, I like the sound of that. So not bad for our first Xfinity outing. Let's see what's next on the list. All right, so next on the list will be Martinsville. I wasn't sure if it was going to be another week or so before Martinsville showed up. But very nicely done. We're going to actually end it here for this video. Because this race was a little bit longer, we're going to see what the length is for this video. We're going to see how that works going forward and whether or not we're going to start including one race or two in each video. But I really appreciate you guys joining me for the series. Tell all your friends about it. We're having lots of fun here at Knee Pit Gaming, and the more people, the better. So thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more of our playthrough in career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2.